How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in. So this is going to be a part 2 of how to upgrade your suspension on the 3rd generation Accord. On the last episode, we were talking about coilover options as well as strut options, lowering springs, coilover sleeves, other options from other vehicles that we could use on our car, and the pros and cons, a lot more cons and reasoning on going that route. On this one, we're going to be talking about specifically like chassis reinforcement, and as well as like upgrading alignment parts. So let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about upper control arms. So for the front, the only option to my knowledge right now is using 2nd generation Preload upper control arms. They are very similar in design as ours, except on top of the control arm there are 2 bolts that allow for the positive and negative camber to pretty much slide. There needs to be a slight modification done. I actually need to get some onto my Accord hatchback. I need to make a trip to the junkyard or order it online. And I'll do a quick how-to on how to do it. Pretty much the studs that mount to the body, they're a little bit narrower than our OEM ones for the Accord, and there needs to be a modification. Like, it's super easy, guys, just to basically just space them out a little bit to be able to mount to the body. After that, everything else from below that is just same as stock. Before I move on to the rears, there is no aftermarket front upper control arm that I'm aware of at this moment. So that's pretty much the only other alternative for any camber correction, that you guys can be able to have by going to the 2nd generation Preload upper control arm route. Anyway, going to the rear. However, there is aftermarket support for the rear upper control arms. Cheddas Auto. It's run by one guy right now, or has always been run by one guy to my knowledge. He's actually doing a version 2. He was the only person, and he made an adjustable rear upper control arm to, obviously adjust for camber and stuff. He made those a while back. A couple people got them. He doesn't really keep anything in stock. A lot of his stuff is made to order, and a lot of it he won't even do unless there's like maybe at least 10 people doing pre-orders on before he even starts like making them, which is understandable. I'm not even get into the whole logistics and stuff on that. Actually, as of right now, he already has a version 2 rear upper control arm in development and is ready to make and go right now. So I'll leave a link in the description. Obviously, guys, just check out his entire site. Guy's really nice. He's really cool. He's really knowledgeable. He doesn't make stuff only for our cars. He makes stuff for other older generation Honda cars and stuff, and some a little bit newer. Excuse me. But yeah, so there's that. So if you guys want to get into pre-order to get a rear adjustable control arm, now's the time to do it. He's also developing a 2nd version of rear lower control arms as well. He made it. I believe he has 2 versions, so this would be the 3rd version of rear lower control arms. He's making 4-hour cars, and yeah, actually, now we're talking about that. Let me just get that out of the way. Rear lower control arms, Cheddas Auto is the only option for that. Other than that, we're stuck with our stock control arms. If you guys can always upgrade using Prothane bushings. I'll leave a link in the description where you guys can find parts numbers for those. Okay, now I'm moving back on to the rear adjustable, the rear upper control arms. So besides the ones I just mentioned, there was another one, if you guys search through the forums, called Ingles. They no longer make an adjustable rear upper control arm. There is a pretty cheap modification that people have done with success. It is kind of, it does seem kind of iffy, but I mean, I'm actually not too scared to try it. If worst comes to worst need be, I never really had too much alignment problem in the rear. Just due to the nature of the double wishbone suspension. Our cars don't really camber out nearly as bad as like Civics and McPherson style suspension systems do. So this is pretty much like it's called the washer and extended bolt trick. Pretty much where the rear upper control arm mounts to the body. You guys can actually use, here this is a bad example. Sorry guys. Upper control arm, wheel and tire. So the lower you go, hypothetically speaking, it's going to be going like this. So the tire's going to be negative camber right now. I know this is really bad, guys. So using the extended bolt and washer trick, you pretty much are going to be using spacers from between the body and the upper control arm, which is going to push the arm forward, and then pretty much fix the negative camber. So obviously the more negative camber you have, the more washers you're going to need, and the longer bolts you're going to need, and so on and so forth. It's kind of a weird, haggard way to do it, but it can work. And if you guys are going to get in alignment and you're like maybe just a hair, or just a little bit, just a little bit negative camber, you guys want to correct just to get that perfect zero, you guys can do that trick, no problem. But I mean, if you guys are just stupid spacecraft negative camber in the rear, which I've never seen in our cars, and I'm saying it's impossible, then I'm gonna highly suggest you guys just get an adjustable rear upper control arm. Okay, next I'm gonna move on to sway bars, but before I start talking about that, I'm gonna try to get this out of the way. So if it's up to getting strut bar or sway bar, get the sway bars first. It's going to do you far more good. And honestly, I would tell you from my opinion and my advice to you guys building and trying to improve the suspension or the handling of the vehicle, get coilovers first. Get quality coilovers first. You're going to notice more improvement through that than anything else I'm about to mention on this list. Do that, and then sway bars, and then strut bars or any other chassis bracing brace you can get. So yeah, and another note, whenever you guys are installing a sway bar or a strut brace or strut bar or a lower control arm or anything like that, make sure to preload your vehicle's suspension. What I mean by that is when the car is jacked up, simulate it as if it's on the ground with wheels and tires, and everything is fully compressed, and where your control arms are going to be compressed to when it's laying down. Simulate all that, because if you don't, if you just slap on the sway bar and stuff while everything's just all hanging down or whatnot, you're not going to get the best effect of it. And from what I've even heard, I don't know if this is true or not, you can even risk damaging those parts that you just installed, because as soon as it goes to the whole load and stuff like that, it could possibly bend or damage the parts. I don't know if that's true or not. I can kind of see how it could be, but then again, it's like I don't know. I would just do it how a lot of people tell me to do, and how I've seen them do it is just preload the vehicle suspension. So, okay, moving on from that. So every year from 86 through 89, every model had a front sway bar. The carbureted vehicles are the only ones that did not come from factory with a rear sway bar. So keep that in mind. The rear sway bars from all the fuel injected ones will bolt up to the carbureted ones, no problem. There's no difference in design or none of that. So I'm reading this off the 3G's Wiki TV page. If you guys don't know what that is or have ever been on it, you guys should. I'll leave a link in the description below. There's a lot of good info on there, a lot of quick good info to catch on. But also be sure to check the forum as well. 3G's is there, it's been there forever. A lot of cool stuff. I'm never gonna not stop saying that. All right, so here we go. So this is the stock sway bar sizes for the front. From 86 through 87, you got 20 millimeters. From 88 through 89, you have 22 millimeters. Now in the rear, from 86 through 87, you have 12 millimeter. And from 88 through 89, you had 13 millimeter. Now, here's a cool thing. Aftermarket sway bars. Suspension Techniques still sells sway bar kits for our cars. On the website, I'm looking at this website right now, and it's ready to be added to a cart, so that's cool. And it's actually at a pretty good decent price right now, and it comes with polyurethane bushings and all that cool stuff for front and rear. So here are the specs on that. For the front is 24 millimeters, which to my knowledge is the thickest front sway bar you can get for our cars, and the rear of the Suspension Techniques bar is 16 millimeter. Now on my coupe and my hatchback, I'm running the CB7 or 4th generation Accord rear sway bar. They will bolt onto our cars no problem. Some people say it needs to be retrofitted. The only thing I remember is it being a little bit tighter squeeze and to pretty much mount onto the body, which with a little elbow grease isn't too bad. But I don't remember anything too crazy that you had to do to make it work. But those bars come in stock at 21 millimeters. Now Suspension Techniques does make a bar for that, and I can't remember. I know when I looked at it last, I didn't even think about getting it because I believe the diameter of the Suspension Techniques aftermarket bar was 21 millimeters as well, which didn't really make sense to me, but it's all good. So I still have the stock fronts, which in my personal opinion, I think it's a good balance. Just keeping 22 millimeter up front for the Accord, 21 millimeter. So pretty much a pretty balanced sway bar set, good balance, stuff like that. And obviously 1 millimeter thicker in the rear for the hatchback, because that has a 20 millimeter. So yeah, there's that. I'm not gonna get into how to tune your suspension for front wheel drive cars. You guys can go do that yourself. I'll talk about it if you guys want to in a later video. I don't know. See what you guys are saying in the comments. Okay, strut bars. So DC Sports used to make the only bolt-on front strut bar for our cars. They no longer have made them for many years now. You guys may get lucky and find them used pop up, as well as their headers. So there's that. Cheddas Auto is the only person I know that makes a front strut bar for our cars. It's actually a really cool design, the one he's made. I'm pretty sure it's a made to order, so you guys probably have to email him or get in contact through him on getting one, which, you know, worst he can say is no or not right now. I guarantee he's probably going to say not right now or, you know, whatever. As of right now, as I'm filming this, the holidays are coming up, so I mean, it never hurts to at least just get a hold of the guy. They work really well. A lot of people that I know that have them don't really have any bad complaints. They clear anything from the OEM intake manifold, the PGMFI. They clear the B16, various B6 aftermarket B16 intake manifolds. If you guys did that modification, they fit over the OEM carbureted setups. Now, the only thing I can't say for certain, and actually I was supposed to have been the guy to kind of clarify this, but I messed up on that because I suck. I was actually I was gonna buy one when he made the first batch of it, but obviously I didn't have the money for it, and I haven't had money for stuff like that. I mean, I have, but obviously I've been spending on other stuff. I told him I actually wanted to get one, and since I was running a Weber 3236 with a very high air carb box, I was gonna see if it'll clear that. I'm not sure if it does or doesn't. If you guys know what I'm talking about running the Weber 3236 is if you guys get the kit, they come with a really small air filter. I actually upgraded that to the taller one just because, in my opinion, that's just a better breathing air filter design. So if you guys are running that setup, I'm not sure if it's going to work for you. So there's that. Rear sway bars, there really isn't anything. The Megan rear strut bar for the 4th generation Accord will work on our cars with modification to the mounting tabs. I've seen pictures of it. I can't bring it up because you guys can thank Photo Bucket for that. As well as the Megan rear tie bar, which is basically the bar that goes on the bottom that bolts onto the rear subframe. You guys see Civic, like my Civic has Blackworks Racing LCAs as well as the purple subframe brace. Same thing. Our cars really don't need it just due to the double wishbone suspension, and it'd be cool. I'm actually thinking of putting it on the hatchback just because I already did a lot of like body cutting on it, so I have the room to do it because that's the kind of thing I'm gonna get here. That rear tire well sits so low that you guys are gonna have to like pound the heck out of it or cut out a section of it to even like get that tie bar to bolt onto the rear subframe. And it's just kind of like a lose-lose situation. Really, it's like, so you're gonna weaken the chassis by cutting it or hitting it to accommodate room for a chassis reinforcement part. To me, that doesn't make any sense to do that, but so given the hatchback, I already cut that whole rear tire well due to weight reductions and just other stuff I want to do to it. I'm going to do other chassis reinforcements on that, but I'll talk about that more on a later date. So I'll get that rear tire bar and, you know, eventually bolt it on. It's not a priority right now, and show you guys and let you guys know, you know, what I think about it and whatnot. But yeah, there's that. Okay, I talked about it briefly already. So lower control arms. So I already talked about the rear lower control arms. Cheddas Auto, man to go to. There isn't any front lower control arms available for our cars, which to me really isn't too big of a deal. You guys, there is still polyurethane bushings available for replacement on the front lower control arms for our cars, as well as other places on our vehicle. I'll leave a link in the description where you guys can find parts numbers and stuff like that to know what to look for if you're gonna upgrade, you know, or replace your bushings in your vehicle, which is pretty much nowadays can be always a good idea to upgrade to polyurethane. So another thing that Cheddas Auto makes, amongst all the other amazing great stuff he makes for our cars, is he makes a traction bar. Now, why do you want a traction bar? So for almost every person that I'm aware of that has gone B series in our cars, has always had a problem because of how many different models of B series there are and all the different aftermarket headers there are available for those cars. A lot of them have had problems with the clearance of the header pipe not clearing that front subframe in that car. In our cars, so which left them options of pretty much just cutting out a section for that header to clear, which has caused pretty much handling issues and other issues later on down the road from having to do that. Now the traction bar eliminates that because it's a whole different design where clearance is no problem in that. And just for you guys that's running a little bit more higher, high-powered cars, or especially if you guys are running with a limited slip differential, it helps with torque steer amongst other things, and it's just a lighter, better design. So there's an option there. I said more likely it's gonna, if you guys order it, you're more likely gonna have to wait for it for a little while, just because more likely gonna be a made to order. And I said every time he does he shows off new products, guys. I mean, it's kind of understandable. I know a lot of us third generation Accord enthusiasts really want a lot more aftermarket support for our cars, but the truth is it's like, getting people to make stuff and then making a profit off of it is very hard to do. So like, I'm just thankful myself that there's people like Jourdain at Cheddas Auto just like even considering making good quality high-end parts for our vehicles. So there's the traction bar he makes, and the last thing I'm going to close out with is he also makes extended top hats, front and rear. Last I heard, I mean, this may be old news already, that he may have some in stock. I don't know whether, I can't remember if it was the front or the rear. If you guys don't know what extended top hats do, like in a nutshell, pretty much it allows the shock to sit further into the shock tower, and it's like better. And it's like, I'll let you guys Google it. It's pretty much, if you guys are super slammed, it like instead of the shocks being fully compressed all the time at that stock ride height that you want, this pretty much makes it to where that stock would be, or that shock will be at what stock ride height would be at a lower ride height, if that makes any sense. So yeah, if you guys don't know, just Google like what the benefits of extended top hats are for. All right, that about does it. If you guys know of anything that I missed, make sure to leave a comment below and I'll check it out. If I hear about anything else, I'll let you guys know. And I'll end it like this, guys. Cheddas Auto, make sure to check it out. Support Jourdain. That guy is super cool, super nice, very knowledgeable. He's a family man. I love supporting good people, so he doesn't have to be doing what he's doing for our cars. He's like, to my knowledge, he could be making money and doing better things with his time, and he's choosing to do this because this is just, to my knowledge, what he loves to do. Version 2, rear upper control arms, and version 2, rear lower control arms. They are group buy-ins right now. Do it. He hasn't done a group buy-in for a new product of his in a very long time that I'm aware of. So guys, do so now. I'll leave links in the description and stuff like that for you guys to be able to find them. Version 2 rear upper control arms and rear lower control arms for third generation Accord, guys. Do it. So as I film this, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, so I want to wish all you guys happy Thanksgiving and safe travels to wherever you guys need to get to. And I hope all you guys go to Fukuoka. I'm going to be going to California to visit my family over there, and so uploads are going to be a little bit slower than they have been, and I want to apologize for that. Just a lot of family stuff amongst other stuff I've been busy with. But definitely what I want to try to do before the end of the year is I have another Mexico race event coming up, maybe import face-off in Las Vegas. I'll try to make that one, upload a couple of cool stuff that I'll see there. Head gasket change on the coupe, try to get this back up and running. I've never done a head gasket job before, but I understand what needs to be done, so I'm not too scared about doing it. And then hopefully mid-December, right before Christmas and New Year's, I'm going to start doing the B-swap in the Accord hatchback, so that should be fun. Other than that, guys, holidays, if you guys don't know, I play in a metal band, so we're currently working on our first full-length album, and we have a show lined up beginning of 2020. We haven't played a show in quite a while, so we gotta get ready for that. I also have a solo project that I'm working on my second full-length on, so gonna be busy with music stuff, family stuff, so I'll try to keep on this. Like I said, I have a whole bunch of stuff I know I can cover and talk about. I need to start talking about civic stuff, or not civic stuff, but just other stuff in general for car stuff, but yeah. Anyway, again, happy Thanksgiving. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.